So how is the rear wheel vertical alignment related to the engine vertical position? Well, it just so happens that the rear wheel fork pivots on the transmission. The transmission is connected to the engine. So if you tilt the engine, you tilt the transmission, you tilt the fork, and you change the vertical alignment of the rear wheel. Here you can see the bottom front engine motor mount, which mounts to the frame. A bolt goes through this motor mount, and the mount is designed so that the engine can tilt vertically without affecting the fore and aft or the up and down motion of the motor mount. So this secures the engine, but yet allows the vertical adjustment of the engine to take place. Here's a picture of the rear transmission mount, which also includes the pivot for the rear wheel. So it's a little complicated. Here you can see the frame. Here you can see the pivot for the yoke for the rear wheel. And inside that rubber mount is the transmission, which is part of the engine. So the whole unit sits in a rubber mount. Same as the front. It can be moved, it can be tilted, but it can't be moved up and down or fore and aft. What can't be seen here is that the bolt that the swing arm pivots on is inserted through the transmission rigidly so that the transmission and the pivot arm follow one another. And the whole assembly is mounted in this rubber bushing. Here you can see the right side of the frame and the right side part of the rear wheel fork. To keep the engine in vertical alignment, there's this top link and then there's this lower link, both on the front of the engine. Here's a picture showing the top link and the bottom link. This means that the bottom link is a pivot point and the engine tilt pivots around this bottom link. So the top link to the bottom link kicks the bottom of the engine either left or right on the two bottom motor mounts. So there you have it. This is how adjusting the vertical setting of the engine adjusts the vertical setting of the rear wheel. With that understanding, it's now time to adjust the top link, which will set the rear wheel in a proper vertical position. To do that, I took this 1/4-inch steel rod and I bent it into this shape, and I put an O-ring here on one end. Now simply insert the 90-degree end of the bent rod into the bottom shock mount hole and adjust the O-ring to match the outside edge of the top shock mount bolt. And repeat the same for the other side, and when they match, by adjusting the engine, then you've achieved vertical rear wheel. In this picture, the camera wasn't directly outside of the bolt head, therefore it gives a parallax. Looks like they don't match, but they do match. And when I started, there was an 1/8 of an inch difference. Now I have 0 difference. So there you have it. This bike is now ready to reconnect the rear shocks, and this bike should handle very nicely since the wheel is exactly vertical to the frame of the bike. If you wish to make your own adjustable link, please refer to the previous video in this playlist. So have a good day.